Welcome to the first episode of the Megavision Sideshow, for patrons only. If you're listening to this, then you've backed our Megavision's Patreon, of which we are eternally grateful. As Rio once said, I should be grateful. And we are. This is a show where we discuss a game we decided to all play through, or whatever else tickles our fancy. Maybe we're going to talk about movies, maybe whatever is up with the horrible Sonic movie, who knows. But it just doesn't quite fit, and we didn't want to make the main show like 5 hours long. So this episode, we're actually going to be talking about Shenmue 2. Joining me today is Chris. What is Jiu-Jitsu, the editor of Megavisions?
What is up?
And Marcin, do you want to arm wrestle, managing editor of Megavisions?
I'm actually bad at arm wrestling, but how's it going?
Pretty good. And I am Scotty Mo. So what kind of ended up happening was with Shenmue 3 releasing soon, it just was a coincidence that a couple members of Megavision staff wanted to play through Shenmue 2 prior. So we decided to start a podcast discussing the game. So each of us are playing a different version. Chris is playing the European Dreamcast version. Marcin is playing the PC HD re-release, and I'm playing the PlayStation 4 HD re-release. So we're going to be talking about the differences between those, but overall just our first impressions. I have never played through this game before. I've never even started it, despite owning it for years on Xbox, original Xbox. Chris, have you played through it at all before?
I've not completed the game. I've gotten really far into it before, but for whatever reason, it's just one of those things I never ended up finishing it, despite owning it on pretty much every like system that it's been released on, and playing it well into each of those games. I just haven't finished it. So I think this is an awesome opportunity for me to right that wrong and check this one off my list of games I need to complete.
Yeah. That's cool. That's kind of what happened with me with the first game, is I started it so many times, but just never got around to actually committing. So that's cool. Marcin, I think you've played through it at least once or twice.
I've played through it over a dozen times.
Holy crap.
Both games.
Okay.
For sure.
Thank God you're here. Thank
Marcin,
God you're here.
Your Shenmue is showing.
Yes, my Shenmue is showing. I should put some pants on.
Indeed. Yeah, so that's cool. So we're all kind of on different waves here going into this game. I want to point out: is anyone a fan of Cowboy Bebop at all in the slightest?
I haven't personally watched it, but I know of Cowboy Bebop.
Like Shenmue 2, I've started it and watched a lot of it, but never actually finished it.
I'm actually currently watching Avatar, if that counts, but that's about it.
Avatar's not a real anime. No. Reason I ask that is the girl in the intro, pre-title screen of both Shenmue 1 and 2 looks exactly like a girl in an episode of Cowboy Bebop. For fans of Cowboy Bebop, it's the episode Boogie Woogie Feng Shui. Look at that and tell me they're not the same girl somehow. I don't know. I even at one point looked to see if there's like forums about this. No one's talked about this. I don't know why. So she's a gypsy in the episode.
Oh shit! So. Yeah, no kidding.
Exactly. Exactly. Like the exact same dress. It's crazy. But that's fine. I wanted to get that out there because I've had no one to discuss that with.
So maybe someone on staff was a Cowboy Bebop fan.
Maybe. I mean, because that was out before this game, but Shenmue takes place before Cowboy Bebop, of course. So yeah, anyway, that aside, let's talk about the game. Immediately when the game begins, you can tell you are in a bigger world than Dobuita or anywhere that you are around in Shenmue 1, which I think Shenmue 1 has a lot of that small town charm. Everybody knows Ryo's name and everything that happened on quote unquote that day. But no one there knows Chinese except for a couple of people. Thank God we're in China now. But yeah, I just kind of want to talk about that first. Like, you step off the boat and you're in sort of a marketplace, but where everybody is telling you how good of a looking boy you are and how smart, good looking people are with their taste and buying pocket watches and lighters. So, did you guys notice that? How just like immediately there's more NPCs on the screen. It's just bigger overall as soon as you walk off the boat.
I think it started out even like before that. I think the opening scene of the ship like coming into port was really breathtaking. especially when I first played it. But even now, I think it looks great. Just showing all like the sweeping scenes, and you see it, pulling into port, and then you're right, like getting off. Like there's such it feels like a really bustling city, a port city that you didn't get that sense in the initial game, and there was a ton going on. I mean, Rio gets off. He's kind of a small town kid, and all of a sudden he's forced into this situation where he's never been in before, and he's in a foreign land. There's all these people coming at him trying to take his money and all this sort of stuff. So it's pretty crazy. It sets like a really interesting tempo, like right from the get-go.
I mean, like when I initially played it, so this was like 2005, and then even now, yeah. So the biggest thing is this sense of the unknown, because I think one of the things I did like about Shenmue One was because it did feel kind of like a close, tight knit community. It was very, contained, and then your world basically expanded by tenfold, and you walk around and you can basically at this point ask anybody a question, and most of them will generally just kind of take you to that place. There's some who don't know what you're talking about, but a lot of people who you walk up to will generally help you out. One of the biggest things I noticed when I played the first game, and even on the PC version, I guess, like the audio, the English dub for me, because that's how I play through them, is like in the second one, it seemed like the English audio was like muffled, as if they like were recording it, or like they really downgraded the sound quality.
Yep.
Compared to the first one. It just sounded like really mono. I don't know.
Maybe they just had a computer microphone like set to near some speakers.
They might have, yeah. That's what I'm assuming. Like the budget was like considerably lower, so they're just like recording through PC speakers or something. But yeah, that's one of the biggest things I noticed when I played it. Oh, not to mention I added textures in the PC version of the game, so to change my experience, and that was interesting. So.
Oh yeah. The audio thing is definitely something I noticed, not right away, but more so when I was trying to pay attention to what people were saying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it goes from like sounding like you're in the same room talking to this person to like, my name is, do you know where the Wayne Chain Tay is? And like
Yeah.
it's just completely different, which is weird. Um, but you can also now. Chris is playing the European Dreamcast, and Marcin, you played this forever or a bunch of
Mm-hmm.
times. Is that photo mode where, like, for example, for me, I just hit R1 and I just take a picture of whatever is happening, whether it's a cutscene,
Mm-hmm.
dialogue, whatever. Is that just in the game flat out?
That is in I think they included it in the Xbox version first. I don't think the pictures were a thing on the Dreamcast version.
Oh,
You're
okay.
right. You're right. You can't do that in the
They,
Dreamcast.
they wanted to add some extra features for the release of the Xbox version, because it came out like around a year after it was released on Dreamcast. So
Mhm.
everyone knows that they didn't port it in North America, and there's a big stink about it. So then Microsoft um, got the rights to a lot of Sega games at that time, and Shenmue 2 got a bit of an overhaul. They added bloom effect, and then they added filters that you can use if you had the Xbox controller. That white and black buttons were used for filters and also taking pictures and stuff.
Oh, yeah. I accidentally turned like sepia and on 1,000 times already.
Uh-huh.
I think it's mapped to a weird button. It's like L1 or something. So
Yeah.
when I mean to hit the button to go into first person mode to look at stuff, I keep accidentally changing it to like black and white or shades of yellow.
Mm-hmm.
So that's interesting. That's good to know. And there, it's also worth noting before we get too far into the story that there was actually a manga
Good reason.
released.
I get like an old school martial arts movie, but I don't know. Wasn't
Yeah,
a fan.
whoa, you cut off for a second for me. What about a martial arts movie?
I said maybe like for it to feel like an old school martial arts movie, but I wasn't a big fan of the um the filters as a whole.
Yeah, I don't know that I could see myself like maybe on a second or third playthrough changing it over to one and sticking with it, but definitely not my first time through.
Yeah.
Um,
I will
But
say this though, like that's one of the, I feel like they were even pioneers of that because now most games have like selfies that you can take in the game or screenshots and whatnot you can do, and they did that on Xbox.
yeah, exactly. That's why I asked, because that is just pretty much common. It's like,
Mhm.
that's just another box to check in current gen now. Is there a photo mode? Yes or no? Um, but something to talk about before we get too far into the story. There's actually a manga that was released that fills in some gaps in between two and one and two.
Mhm.
Even just with Rio on the ship, that like he helps some people out.
Yep.
To a little bit of Joy's background story, which according to, and I found these throughout the web, you can unlock them by getting certain photos taken and things like that in the game. But
Yeah.
it looks like I'm. I also want to apologize ahead of time. I'm going to butcher every name that we discuss. So Gizong, basically
Guizhang,
Guizon, the dude
Guizhang.
in the suit who was accompanying, who helped you out at the end of the first game.
The
Um,
Beatles haircut.
yeah, exactly. The Beatles haircut. He's just in a suit. He apparently like was a protector of Joy earlier in her life for some reason. So maybe that has something to do with how she just knows everyone in town. I don't know. Um, but yeah, so you get off the boat and you're walking around and you can buy shit, and you should, because you're gonna get mugged. Um, and the guy that we were following initially told me that. For those that do want to follow along, we're actually following a strategy guide on Game Facts that is written by Crazy Ren, spelled Reyn at the end there. We'll link it in the description of this episode, but we started with a different guide and just found it didn't provide much detail, but it did save me some money because it told me I was going to get mugged. So I bought a bunch of lighters to sell
Mhm.
back, um, which was goofy. It was goofy because I was like, oh, money doesn't matter. Money never mattered in Shenmue 1 other than going to the arcade and getting gashapon. So
Yeah.
why should I care about this stuff? But no, there's so yeah, so just before though, you get into arm wrestling for a really strange reason, and there was no prompt on the screen when I was playing, so I just
Mhm.
immediately lost. Does that happen the same way for you guys? You have to like pause it to see what the controls are to arm wrestle?
I had to look at the strategy guide because I completely forgot. Because like you, it started and I immediately lost. I was like, what the
Right,
heck?
yeah.
So I looked at it, the strategy guide, and it did give a good tip in that it said like right when the camera zooms in and before the match actually starts, like start pressing the A button. And if you do that, it's fairly easy. I was able to beat because the first guy you fight, you arm wrestle is named Jimenez Garcia, which is kind of funny because it's two last names.
He
You know?
looks like he's wearing like a skin suit as a sweater. Like it looks like he's just really
Oh,
attached to him.
yes.
And that's always really funny too because he'll raise his arms up, and like I think Shinmu got the character models pretty good for the time that it was released. But the one
Mhm.
thing that always looks so awkward is when they raise their arms because their shoulders just start like contorting in this weird way. It looks so
He has
unnatural, like
scoliosis.
they're popping out of socket or something. It looks so painful. But yeah, I'm dying though as I'm as I'm trying to arm wrestle. You're trying to press it as much as you can, and you're having to like crazily hit the A button, and there's like a prompt that will come up every so often, hitting the left um, D or direction on the D-pad, and that helps you quite a bit. But as you continue going on, it gets harder and harder. The more and more you get. I guess if you win 5 arm wrestling matches in a row, you get an achievement in um,
Oh, okay.
some of the modes as well, or some of the versions.
Yeah. And one of the awesome things for most North American fans is that you can transfer if you're playing the re-releases, you can transfer the Shenmue 1 save into Shenmue 2. So people were complaining about what's the point in money and all the toy capsules, but all that can now transfer over to Shenmue 2. So the moment that you leave Dobuita and then the amount of money that you leave with and the capsule toys and all that stuff that you get, like your chips and the chocolate and all that stuff that was kind of pointless at the beginning, turns into capsule toys and things you can pawn off in the second one. And that was kind of the long-term plan for the games. So that if people were playing the first one, they reaped the rewards in the second one. But yeah, you definitely have to blow all your money that you get beforehand, because that little fucker steals your bag. Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy to me because and part of me was like, maybe I don't need to play through because I just finished the first one on Dreamcast. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I need to play through that on this HD collection before I start to, but now I kind of wish I had. And I'll get more into when I realize that money actually makes a fucking difference in this thing. But yeah, that little piece of crap steals your bag, and then you gotta kind of walk around and tell people, and a lot of the reaction is just like, "Someone stole your bag. That's awful." Yeah, have you seen any guys around here? Nope.
Walks away.
I think that's also it shows the kind of how Rio is how naive he is. Like he
Right.
comes into this new city. Like I said before, he's from a small town, and he's being taken advantage of. And he's even, there's a couple times even before that, I think he meets Joy really early on, like as he's starting to walk into the first town, and she tells him, like, be careful because people are going to try to steal your stuff. And like a few minutes later it happens. And then there's even before that, there's the lady on the ship with her daughter. She tells him to, just be careful because these people are going to try to, get your money, and there's a guy that's going to take your photo and you don't have to pay him. And so
That's right. Yeah.
there's times where people are giving him warnings, but it still just goes to show that, he's very, I guess, someone who's quick to trust someone, and then also he wants to help people in trouble, and so it ends up getting him in trouble and being taken advantage of. Just those qualities that are good qualities, but he's still young and kind of naive, and you see him getting taken advantage of pretty early on in the game.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. He's small. Jungle to Jungle said it best. Yes, that classic Tim Allen film, going from a small town or just a different, basically a farm almost, you could say, to the big city. So Rio's making his way downtown, getting mugged, and probably wants to be homebound. But yeah, so it's funny, and also. I don't know. This was not portrayed great to me, but maybe Rio's his like mood changes so drastically that it shows to the NPCs, but you can't really see because he has no expression on his face. Because I was walking around the fountain for a while, Pigeon Park or whatever it's called, and like I approached this child, and he was just, his first response was just, I'm like, what the hell is going on with this kid? And I'm like trying to talk to him. He's like, you're scary. And Rio's like, no, I'm not. And dude, why did I even try to talk to this kid? And also, B, you sound like an asshole. No wonder the kid doesn't want to say anything. You're practically holding him against his will.
He just has murder on the mind and revenge.
Yeah, he does at that point for sure.
Can we also talk about the racist Jamaican guy in Pigeon Park too?
I feel like there are many caricatures that were like kind of racist that like across the whole spectrum of race.
You go up
like,
and talk
like
to him.
Some obvious caricatures.
He's like, oh, Suzuki-san. He's like, do I know you? He's like, yeah, we met last year, and I can't remember what town. He's like, I've never been there before. He's like, oh. He's like, I thought all Japanese were Suzuki-san or Satu-san.
Really, oh my gosh.
But even himself is like a stereotype or a caricature of Jamaicans too. So it's so funny. Like the game is portraying this one character as kind of a racist type of guy. He's not overly or in mean-spirited kind of way, but his character himself is still
Chris Tucker
like
cameo, trying to be like
it's so
Hour.
funny. I really I got a chuckle out of that too.
Yeah, I mean that's happened in the series just from you're Chinese, or do you know Chinese people that speak Chinese, yeah, I miss speaking of that, I miss Tom from the first game. I wish he was in this game somehow, just wheeling and dealing his hot dogs here, but yeah, so you but it's interesting though, because just about everyone in the first game was able to give you a hint, or at least everyone would say something that would generally get you the same notebook hint. But in here, there is a lot of times where people just like won't even say anything to you, or like not even give you a second reply. And then eventually you come up to a bar where you see these two dudes drinking. Doesn't matter what time of day it is, but they're getting drunk, and
They're
they
my kind of guys.
yeah, I don't understand. Like, I don't know how well this scene was really thought out because he doesn't even say anything. Like, he just says hi, and they just are immediately assholes and like, haven't seen you around here. Blur, blur, blur. Oh, your bag? We don't give a shit. So he tries to walk away and leave them alone because they clearly don't want to be bothered. And then they're like, "Where are you going? You owe us money now." And it's like, what is going on in this town?
The Poison Brother dudes, the guys at the tea shop or whatever, the ones that were sitting down on the table.
Yeah, they're at a table outside. This is just like and it's even funnier because after you encounter them and deal with them, then I try to approach the shop lady thinking like I did her a favor by getting a couple thugs away, but she's like, "You need to watch it," or something like that. Like, "You caused a lot of trouble here. I don't appreciate that for business." And you're just like, I don't know why this town hates me. It's pretty good. But I actually, and that was another time that Joy came in. We could talk about her a little bit. She shows up almost immediately on her bicycle, her cool motorcycle that's probably in Hang On or inspired by Hang On.
I love the music that cues. Like every time she shows up, it's like wow.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Like, freaking yeah. Apparently, Whitesnake just is in an alley somewhere right
so
next to her at all moments. It's like, she's a crazy lady with the skin of porcelain or something. I don't even know what the lyrics are. It doesn't matter. But she's pretty much what's keeping this game going. Like, she's almost more of a protagonist than Rio in this game so far. And I guess I don't know if it matters that much, but I missed a photo of her immediately, which is how you unlock the manga stuff and blah blah blah. That's kind of a point to bring up real quick. What do you guys think of like just the difference in menus from the first game to the second? Because I feel like this one really holds your hand and is like, you're going to collect these to fill in these blanks. I don't know if it has that on the original Dreamcast version, but it has like silhouettes of every Gashapon that you can collect. Is that the same in your version, Chris?
I want to say yes. There are silhouettes like when you go in there and look at them. Because I think so.
Yeah, it is. I thought it was maybe an upgrade thing for the HD version because I'm kind of not a fan of it because I liked having no idea what Gashapon I could get. But I feel like it doesn't really spoil it, but it takes away a little bit of the mystery in my mind. But I see why they do it though, because I mentioned the pawn shops briefly earlier. You can sell full sets of things, so you can sell like all the Virtual Fighter or all the Virtual Fighter Kids or all the Sonic gotcha toys or all like others, which is Fantasy Zone or Space Harrier and stuff.
Yeah,
It's neat though. The collecting has definitely increased a little bit in this game, I'd say. Yeah, I mean, you even meet a guy at the very beginning who's like, "You like gotcha? I love gotcha. You must be from Japan or something." I don't know what he says.
paraphrasing.
Yeah,
I think the silhouette things are a new thing.
Really?
I know. So yeah, if you start the second one straight up and you don't transfer over your first save file, you'll already have a default amount of gotcha capsule toys already in your inventory.
Right.
And if you start from the first one, then you basically have whatever you personally collected. And in the HD versions, they also include an extra set or two of gotcha capsule toys because there were certain capsule toys that you can only collect on the Dreamcast through your dial-up connection to the passport. So there was like a series of like dolphins and cats and I don't know, geese and shit like that you would get through the passport, and that's the only way you can get those capsule toys. So for the re-releases, they already included them as defaults, which I thought was interesting.
Okay, yeah, that is cool. I was also forever ago. I streamed this, and Chris was there too. And I was talking about like Philip the Dolphin.
Yeah, that was one of them. You're right. Yep, Philip the
Yeah,
Dolphin.
it's just like who should I? Are these like Echo's buddies, Echo the Dolphin's buddies, or something? But then I was like, oh yeah, there was the passport disc. So that's cool that they do that. Because yeah, how would you? I mean, with how the Dreamcast is kind of coming back online, it might be some weird way possibly to get those again. But who's going to go through all that for just this for whatever? So it's neat that they include those in there. And yeah, it's just cool. You could still get the crappy like 6-sided, 20-sided die though, or just a rubber ball, of course, that's worth like $1 to sell
Balls
back.
1 through 4 will give you like $5.
Yeah, if even then, yeah. So that's crazy. But so yeah, your bag gets stolen. You talk to some drunk guys, they don't give you shit. Well, they give you shit. And then you do find the kid, but we should yeah, there's 3 dudes and a little boy that steal your bag. The little kid tricks you, and you find the kid, and then you chase him, which is a quick time event and all that good stuff. But then you find his gang hanging out. I totally fucked up the first time in that QTE, and I was just like left for dead on the ground. And I'm like, oh no, can I? And I immediately what went through my head was, this was back when games could screw you over if you didn't do something right the first time. Do I just not have money for the rest of this game? Did you guys have any trouble with that quick time event at all? Or no, I'm sorry, it wasn't a quick time event. It was the first actual free battle that you have in the game, I think.
There is a QTE that leads into the battle.
Yes,
and if you get it right, then you chase them all the way to I forget the junkyard area, the name of that place, but then you chase him, you jump over the fence, and he falls down, and that's where the 3 guys are that you have to fight 2 of them. If you don't get it, because sometimes if you miss like the last QTE prompt, then as you're trying to jump the fence, there's a police officer that'll come and say like, get off the fence, and yell at you.
Oh, that's cool.
Away. And so then you have to leave, and you have to go find the guys. I think back at that bar area where the other 2 guys were, or at a tea shop or something. You can find them there, and you'll fight them again, which will bring in the kid, and then pretty much like take you to the same kind of location. So I don't think that there is any like negative thing that's going to happen to you after you beat them, but I've never lost to them, so I don't know what happens after
that. No, yeah, I screwed up the first time because I did not remember any of the moves that I was using and whatever. I didn't remember how they were mapped. And then one dude whips out a knife, so already it's like no one had any weapons in the first game. Holy shit! There's a knife.
Hong Kong, bitch.
Yeah.
We got knives up in this mother. But what was I gonna say? Yeah, so yeah, there are certain QTEs that will ask you to replay them, but then there are also certain ones that if you miss them, then you basically just have to deal with the consequences and proceed to go in that direction. So yeah, there's a bunch of those in the second one.
That's cool. So yeah, assuming you succeed, or eventually you get to talk to the little boy who says, I'll show you where your bag is. And it's the most awkward part of the game so far, because you're just watching this boy and following this little boy through the town. I think, can you like back off and just not follow him, or does it just go into like you're on a leash following him?
I'm pretty sure you can just like zoom out, because I think it automatically just hooks onto him. Okay. Same goes for if you're talking to somebody and they know the place that you want to go to, they will take you there, and you can zoom onto them and then just follow them, just put it on cruise control.
Yeah, or that was a cool new thing they added, that you could if you have no idea where you're going, or the map just doesn't help you at all, if you talk to enough people, somebody will eventually say, I'm going there, follow me. So that's nice.
Yeah, I mean, and they added it because the scale, the size of the city is obviously much bigger, so I guess it does help. I mean, you can always try and find it yourself, but it's a nice addition.
Yeah, it is neat.
Especially if you want to just get up and go get a drink or go to the bathroom, you can just find someone and be like, I'll take you there, and 5 minutes later,
like,
you can
what is
come back
that
to the
like?
game.
3 loading screens? All right, let's go.
Yeah,
Make a
exactly.
coffee.
Right, yeah. So you get your bag, and then eventually, I'm trying to remember here. Let's see. The dude with the photos harasses you again, which is creepy. But then suddenly Joy intervenes, and he's like, "Whoa, Joy, whoa, whatever you say, Joy." And I'm like,
Oh,
"What?"
how about a photo?
Yeah, he's the first like kind of guy I interacted with.
Yeah, he's pretty
And Joy
gross.
comes and saves the day, and you take a photo, and reluctantly, because Rio just doesn't understand the opposite sex, I guess.
So awkward all the time. Like, dude,
All the
come on,
time.
man.
Yeah,
I mean, it's done on purpose. They try to make him be very distant and emotionless for one reason or another. Probably because his dad died like a
yeah.
month or two before, so he's just kind of like that. But I mean, that's also kind of reflective of Japanese culture too, you know.
Oh, really? Okay.
So
Yeah, it's he's, and I guess also it lets him not say much, so it lets the game put you in his shoes a little more because he doesn't really have much to say other than to progress the conversations. I mean, some of the conversations are honestly just as awkward as they would be in real life when people are like, "Oh, don't you want to buy this thing?" No, no, I don't. Well, what about this? You're bothering me. You know, stuff like that.
It was pretty funny at one point while I was playing because my son Odin was, as I was playing the game, he came up and was watching me play, and he actually wanted to take turns to play it with me, which was kind of neat. But at one point, we're sitting there playing, and he turns to me, he's like, "Dad, why does he keep talking to himself?" And it made me crack up laughing because I'm just so used to him, just kind of like talk to himself all the time. And it's just one of those things that you kind of just come to expect with the series. But someone who is brand new to it, it's like, this is weird. Why is he just talking out loud all the time?
yeah,
It's pretty funny.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I do like how, and this is a little quality of life thing, because he is totally talking to himself. But when you ask for directions from someone, and they're like, "Yeah, you just when you walk out of the store, turn left, walk down the street, turn right, and find the butcher shop." But then Rio repeats it to you because it's not going to say that anywhere in the game, like in your notebook. Like Rio will say those exact same steps again, so that you're
yeah.
like, okay, now I do know how to get there. I thought that was neat because like I personally am horrible with directions, so I was getting lost in this town just finding my way to the hotel. So I thought that was pretty cool that they have him do that because they could just not have that at all, not even add it in the notebook. So something little like that made a big difference. And then yeah, Joy's like, "Hey, you can stay at this hotel. Just tell them who I am or whatever." And again, the owner's like, "Oh, well, you get the Joy discount or something." Um, and then this was where I realized I needed money in this game and that it actually holds some weight, because I had to kill some time. Joy was like, "Hey, you need to start earning money. Meet me in the morning. I'll get you a job." So I had some time to kill, and I was looking ahead in the guide, and you could meet this dude in a different hotel. And I'm like, all right, I'll go talk to him. And this was after I had, this was after my bag was stolen, but I got it back. But I sold the lighters that I bought and had some money. And I stupidly played Two Take, which is basically Plinko, and wasted my money on that. And I was like, whatever, it doesn't matter. But I sure did screw up because I spent like $50 out of my $74. And no, it was more than that because I was like just under $20. And you get to this gentleman who, let's see here if I can find his name real quick. I am not. I don't think he actually has a name, but he's in the Yantin Apartments, the Yantin Apartments, and because you're asking where Lee Xiao. Oh, damn it, Marcin, help me.
Li,
Lis
Li Xiao Tao.
Lee Xiao Tao. You're asking where he lives. Oh no, that's the dude that you're talking to in room 205 or something. You think anyway, and you ask him some questions. He's like, "That's not me. He moved out." And you're like, "Oh, where did he move to?" And the guy's like, "Well, for either 20, 50, or $100, I'll tell you." And I was like, "I don't have any money right now. I don't have. I can't even go like sell
Yeah,
anything now."
yeah.
Um, so that was when it hit me. It was like, I can't just go play Lucky Hit or Plinko or Gashapon forever in this game, I guess. It was
Mm-hmm.
weird. Um, And so I just killed time walking around, like helped a dude adjust a sign. Have you guys done that where a dude's on a ladder outside his store and he says, like, tell me, is it up or down, and then where it fits?
I
Yeah,
saw him complain about how his sign was crooked, but I didn't get to the point, at least in this playthrough, I didn't get to the point where I actually helped him. Fix
yeah,
it.
I have adjusted. I have adjusted. Well, yeah, that's right. I have
gotta
adjusted his
gotta
sign.
adjust your Shenmue.
Yeah, I mean, there are certain instances where you never run into him, but there was like a couple of playthroughs. Not in this one. There were a couple of playthroughs where I would try and do every single side quest that exists.
Right. Fill
And
that journal.
there's a couple, there's a couple. There's another like one that takes quite a bit. It has to do with Fang Mei. I don't know if you guys will get to that. It's not a necessary thing to do, but
Interesting.
yeah, it's like quite a bit of legwork to get the final thing from her.
Okay.
So yeah, there's a bunch of side quests like that, but it's not necessary, obviously.
Mhm. Right.
Um,
Yeah, I ended up encountering that. I wasn't even trying to. I was just kind of looking at stuff, and
mhm.
he and you have to actually tap up or down if he needs to move or sign up or down. But I was doing it so quickly that I thought I was playing. It sounded like I was playing Space Channel 5 for a second because it was like up, 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 down, down. Okay, like.
Yep.
But I thought that was cool, and it doesn't. He gives you some other directions, which is the same thing you can acquire from any NPC. I did end up getting a trophy for it, though. I think it was like Good Samaritan or something.
Mhm.
Um, so if anything, that like if you look at the trophy or achievement list, you might be able to see like what side events you can do, which is kind of another interesting thing that did not exist when this game came out. You just would talk to your buddies at school or whatever and be like, did you encounter this guy? No, but did you do this? Oh, heck no. Another case was when I was walking up to just literally walking around killing time, and I saw this giant pink tree in the park, and I'm like, that looks cool. And part of me, after failing that first fight with the thugs, was like, I need to find somewhere that I can actually practice my moves. So I walked into the park, and you encounter an old man who is doing Tai Chi. And he kind of just has as random of a conversation as an elderly gentleman waving his arms around on the park would with you, and he senses that you know martial arts, and then he's like, fight me and I'll figure out what style you use. And you cannot touch the guy. Is it possible to actually land a hit on him in that first encounter at all? Do you guys know?
Maybe a leg, but the goal is, yeah, the purpose is to fight him, but you're still not good with your quote unquote kung fu, so you're gonna keep missing. And your journey of trying to center yourself and all that stuff will
Okay.
be
Interesting.
expanded upon.
That's cool. I thought that was neat though. And at the end, where Ryo says that his style is jujitsu, and he walks away, and then the old man's like, "What's jujitsu?" And I'm like, "What? How do you not know? How do you?" I don't know. I guess the internet didn't exist then, and this is the '80s, so maybe you
Mhm.
just haven't left China ever. I don't
Nope.
know.
He's a master of his specific martial art.
I guess so. So I assume we're going to be going back to him at some point, maybe to learn some moves or something.
Mhm.
Um, I still haven't found an area to actually practice my moves and stuff. But which was very different from the first game, because you turn a corner and there's another park where you can just hang out and spar with somebody or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you kill time if you want. Visit pawn shops or whatever. Wake up, enjoy has a job for you, and so it's time to get up, because suddenly blasting through the windows is, and yeah, she's a demon from hell. So, I
I
will
do want to
admit,
say really quickly though,
yeah.
as you come down the stairs, his name is Ren Don, the owner of the Come Over Guest House.
Okay.
He's like, "Hey, dude, you got to pay up, man. This isn't free."
Oh.
And Ryu's like, Nah, man, I can't pay you right now. Like, I'll get you
You're like,
later.
oh, okay. And then you never have to pay him ever. You
Yeah,
can also
yeah.
completely avoid the confrontation if you really hug that wall when you go down the stairs and then just immediately exit and you never have to talk to him again.
I'm just gonna try that next time I'm at a hotel. Is just not look at them and just walk the other way.
Just stare.
Just hug the wall and go straight for the exit.
Or I'm just gonna be like, hey, I don't have any money right now.
Except the
Maybe
bad part
next
is
time.
most people ask you for your credit or debit card, so they'll charge your ass regardless.
Right,
So,
exactly.
won't help.
Yeah, I did actually read about that kind of that cheat in there that you can, if you wait until it auto sends you back to your hotel room at the end of the night at like 11, and then yeah, if you just keep, even if you do keep talking to him, I think you also always just say, I'll get you, or I don't have money right now, or whatever,
Like,
or you might have an
nah,
option.
no money.
Yeah.
Even if like it says you have like $300, like, nah, I got no money.
That's great and hilarious to me, because I thought, for some reason I thought that it wouldn't let me progress the first time. Like, am I gonna have to like just give him? I always assume, because there have been games where you could do this, like you could bet any incremental amount or whatever. I thought that maybe like if I had $13 instead of, what is it, like $38 or $50 or something a night for the hotel, I thought like I'd be able to give him just whatever I have, and then that would be it. But he doesn't even.
I've got this many.
Yeah, I've got this many. Oh yeah,
IOU.
there was a dude playing darts in one of the bars or something, and he wanted to play me in a game, and I was like, I don't have much money, and he's like, all right, well, how about just $5 for a game? And Ryu's like, I don't have much money. He's like, $3, $1, I don't have much money. I don't have much money. And then you're just forced out of the conversation. You can't even play darts. You can only play against him at that point right there.
Yeah.
Which I thought was funny. Again, I was just like, crap, I really can't just buy every Nights into Dreams Gashupon in this game. I have to watch what I do now. So yeah, so you get a job. The lovely Joy, who knows everyone, we're not sure how, wink wink, but talks to just a dude who's around a bunch of other dudes carrying boxes out at the harbor, and he's like, yeah, I got a job for you, or something like that. And it is lifting boxes from one spot over to, what's that?
Worst part of the game.
Is
I
it
love it.
because well, first I was very afraid. I'm like, oh no, more forklifting. And but that did not happen. It's a hilarious cutscene. Well, parts of the cutscene are hilarious, but it's a hilarious kind of quick time event where the dude tells you it's you and one other guy picking up a box on either end and just literally moving it 20 feet. But he tells you, left, right, up, down to move it. But he doesn't say up. He'll just say like,
Yeah,
and left.
That's why it's the worst part of the game, because
Left, right.
no, because in
Why are you going this way? This
the
doesn't
English
make sense.
dub, and that's the only one I've played. I don't know how it sounds in the Japanese dub, but every time you move the box, it's like and I have to mute the fucking TV because I get so annoyed at like eventually just consistently hearing that shit. I was like, oh god, make it stop.
I was like, I thought I messed up at first, because if you miss the prompt or whatever, he just drops the box and yells at you. But then you make $10 a box when you take it over there. But yeah, that was, oh boy. And you only work till like 1:00 or something. I was very confused about that too.
In
But
my mind, I was like, why can't you just take it straight down? Like, why do we have to go left and right and
yeah, and
up and
apparently
down
they
and all
just, I don't know. Apparently, they just didn't have forklifts yet in China that they could just do all those.
Yeah, you need 2 men to carry these boxes, as opposed in the first game you had a forklift and now you downgrade it.
Yeah, severely. But I also like how all these guys are working in their beaters or shirtless or whatever, and then Rio just doesn't even take off his jacket. He's just like, "All right, whatever, let's do this. Okay, cool, lunch. See ya."
Sleeps in it, never changed his underwear once from the first game to the second game. I don't think. It's just been the same pair of pants.
Yeah, that is something. He sleeps in his jacket.
Unless it's like Batman, he opens the closet and it's all the same Just the same jacket and pants hanging.
I assume so. I assume that's how it works. Let's see here. So yeah, so you have a job, so you can get money, so you can pay to get some information, and find out that you got to go to the man Mo something or other. And that's when you get to a new part of town, which also is just like each district is pretty expansive. And I found myself, okay, solid complaint. The maps that are sitting on the sides of the road, why doesn't the game just target you dead center when you're looking at a map? Because I'll look at it from the side and like I'll hit X and it'll just be at an angle and I can barely read the text. So I have to back up, turn around, walk out 2 feet, turn around, get Ryu right in front of the sign so that he can just stare at it like an idiot. I don't know. That drove me nuts. Like I had to. I was about ready to just keep taking a picture of the screen with my phone or something. But yeah, that's me. So you you find out where Tao Sun is, we'll call him that. And you go to the let's see here, the Manmo Temple. And you encounter, I don't think you actually get her name, do you? The girl in the temple there?
No. Your the assumption is that the master is the guy in the white robe, martial arts robe.
Right. Mm-hmm. I think she literally asks you, not if you're Japanese again, damn it. What if she says something to you and he says where he's from, and then she just like echoes the name, and then then the other dude just pops up and says you need to like learn how martial arts works or something like that. What is it? I forget exactly.
Yeah, it's like if you want to meet the master, you've got to
Before Wu Do?
You have to basically, you need to learn, more about martial arts, and you need to go seek out the four Wudu.
Yeah,
so you need more kung fu.
Yep, pretty much, kind of the same thing that the old guy in the park told you. You need to be more complete. You need to learn about stuff before you can just jump in, essentially. So that's where we stopped here, was starting to look for the four Wudu. But I'm very excited to get more into this game. So for those that are those that want to play along with us, we're going to play up until the Ren of Heavens for the next episode. And again, we'll have the link for the strategy guide that we're following along with, so that everybody can keep up. And if you know somebody that's into Shenmue that's not back in the Patreon, freaking tell them about the magazine, guys. But yeah, I'm digging what I'm playing so far. It's different. From the first game, I really wish they had spent more time modernizing the controls. But I'm enjoying it so far. What are your guys' closing thoughts on this chapter?
Chris?
I really enjoyed it. It's, this game is a lot of fun to get back into, even, though it's been a long time since I played it. I did go back and forth. I did play the PC version too, just because I wanted to, see what that was like. And I installed some of the HD mods, and some of them like screwed up. And so I had characters like their faces that were on their dress, or this one guy's suit was like on his face, and
like a Silent Hill creature.
Yeah. It made for some hilarious situations, but I always have a lot of fun with this. But the thing that I was able to do this time that I didn't do in previous ones is just take my time with it, because we didn't set out our first kind of goal, like our endpoint wasn't that far into the game. So I was able to go in and explore a little bit more than I typically do when I play it, and kind of meet some new people that I haven't before. So in a lot of ways, this was kind of a fresh experience for me. So I had a lot of fun with it. I'm really excited to get into the next segment that we're going to be playing. I'm excited about it.
Yeah, very cool. Marcin, this is like your 32nd time playing it. What do you think?
Yeah, it's like 34th.
But I bet, is there something, Marcin, though, that when you play it again that you find, is it one of those games that you still find something new?
I always try to find something different. You're right, because I feel like the majority of my playthroughs, like for Shenmue 2 at least, I didn't go into every building. So like things like I guess I didn't really care for like going into all the bars and whatnot. I started just kind of more actively exploring. I'm like, oh, I've never, heard this song before. I never went inside here because it wasn't a necessity. And another thing you guys might want to try and figure out is the duck racing part. That's another one with a lot of
Hell
legwork
yeah.
because you have to fight this one person, talk to this one person at the tomato mart, and then it's like a secret society or something. You have to find like this gold coin somewhere in we got Aberdeen, and yeah, it's interesting too. So I would try and do that because it's an interesting experience. I never won the duck racing though. I can't.
There has to be a trophy for that or something.
No, I'm sure there's definitely a trophy for that.
Yeah, I know of the duck racing, and that is it. I'm glad that you told us though that it is some kind of extensive way to get into that. So I'll have to look more into that so I don't miss out on it. So that should be cool. And that ended up being in Yakuza. No, Yakuza had chicken races, right?
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah, so that's going to do it for the first episode of the Megavision Sideshow. These are going to be a little shorter. Maybe they won't. Who knows? It's a lot more chill atmosphere because we're just kind of BSing on these ones. So thank you again for everyone. Thank you everyone again for the support. I don't feel we need to let everyone know where to find us because if you're subbed to this, then you know what we're doing on Patreon. But please spread that Megavision's word. Follow us on Twitter and the Twitch page and our YouTube page as well. But otherwise, we'll see you around Aberdeen, I guess. I've been Scotty Moe. I still am. With me today has been Chris.
I'm still Chris.
And also Marcin.
And I still suck at arm wrestling.
That's all right. You just got to build it up. We're going to go lift some boxes. So take it easy, everybody. Bye.
See you later.
Bye.
I need to hit the stop thing.
Yep.
You'll never meet any woman that likes of her. She's a winch rider, sweet aroma in the air. It's no joke, she's a god on a pair of wheels. She passes by in the blank of an island. No, you can't ever stand to keep your head from looking back. 'Cause you see a fantasy's a building that inside your dreams. You wanna touch her skin's like a precious stone metal breeze. Before you know it, you're on your knees, upset, your best for sweet. Turn in the corner, he comes on a metal machine. And your drunk attention is racing